Let's learn how to crochet these beautiful sunburst coasters which adds beauty, elegance and color to your tables. Let's get started. Hey guys, welcome to DIY Crafts. For this project, I am using 4-ply fine weight 100% cotton yarn and a 3mm crochet hook. However, you can use your favorite yarn and its suitable hook size. First, let us begin by making a slip knot. And now let's make a foundation chain 6. So that's chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now we are going to make a circle out of it. So insert your hook into the first chain, yarn over and make a slip stitch to combine it as a circle. Now let's start making row 1. Begin with chain 3. So this side chain acts as a first double crochet. If needed, put a stitch marker on top of the third chain. So that's your first DC. Now let's make 15 more double crochet stitches in the center. So yarn over, insert the needle into the center, pull up a loop and make your first double stitch. And then make another double crochet into the center, but make sure you're putting the double stitches one to the left of your previous one and try to put a count on each and every double crochet stitch you make so that you will get the counting correct. And while doing the double stitch, try to include the starting tail end throughout the center so you don't have to weave in the tail ends after completing the project. So like that, continue to make 15 double crochet stitches, which means including the starting chain 3, you will get a total of 16 stitches, which means we are counting the chain 3 as also one double stitch. Now insert the needle on top of the third chain of first chain 3 and make a slip stitch to combine the circle. So this is the first row with 16 stitches. Now let's change the color and then we will start making the second row. So for this I am using this mustard yellow color yarn and then change the color as shown in the video. So pull the tail end tightly to secure the color change and then make chain 4. Out of this chain 4, this chain 3 will be the double crochet and the chain 1 will be the chain 1 gap. Now yarn over and make a double crochet on top of the first DC. So insert the needle on top of the previous double stitch, and here also I am including the starting tail end so I don't have to weave in the tail end at the end of the project. After this DC, make chain 1 and then make another double crochet on top of the next stitch. So yarn over, insert the hook, include the starting tail end and make a DC. This gives you the second box. Again chain 1 and in the next stitch make a DC. And we are going to repeat this pattern. So again chain 1 and a DC in the next stitch and again chain 1 and DC in the later stitch, and we are going to repeat this pattern throughout the row. So it will give you a pattern of mesh work in your second row and repeat it until the starting point. So here we are left with one last DC. So complete that last double crochet. Don't forget the chain 1 here. Make the last chain 1 and now make a slip stitch onto the third chain of the starting chain 4. So this completes the second row, and by the end of the second row you will see 16 DCs including the starting chain 3 and then 16 chain 1 gaps. Now let's go to the third row. Here insert the needle into the next chain 1 gap and then do the color change as shown in the video. Now chain 3 for the third row, and we are counting this chain 3 as a first DC in the third row. So we have done chain 1 already and then make 2 more chains. So that's chain 3, and now pull it to the corner of the chain 1 gap and make 2 more double crochet stitches in the same chain 1 space, which means in this first chain 1 gap including the starting chain 3 we have 3 stitches. And now in the next chain 1 gap we are making 3 more double crochet stitches. So that's 1, 2 and 3. And then in the next chain 1 gap make 3 more DCs. So in the third row we are going to make 3 DCs in each chain 1 gap, which makes it a total of 48 double crochet stitches by the end of the third row. So continue to make 3 DCs in each and every chain 1 gap until the starting point. So here I am making the 16th set or the last 3 DCs in the last chain 1 gap, and you can cross check for the counting to make sure you have got the correct number of stitches. And now make a slip stitch on top of the third chain. So insert it into the stitch and make a slip stitch. Now again leave the green color yarn and change the color to yellow. Again pull the green color yarn to make it a secured join of the yellow color yarn. Make chain 1 and onto the same stitch of the chain 3 make one single stitch. So we'll count this single stitch and then make chain 3. Skip the next 2 double stitches and make one single stitch on top of the next DC. So this will leave you a little loop kind of look. And again make chain 3, skip the next 2 DCs and in the next stitch make a single stitch. So that gives you a second loop. And likewise we are going to repeat this pattern throughout the row and we will get 16 loops altogether. So for every 3 DCs we are going to get one loop. So again chain 3, skip the next 2 DCs and in the next stitch make one single stitch. Again chain 3, skip the next 2 stitches and make one single stitch. And continue this until the starting point. Now we have reached the last loop. Make the last chain 3 and on top of the first single crochet insert your hook to make a slip stitch, and this completes the 4th row with 16 loops. And now for the last 5th row we are going to give the shape of a leaf or shape of the petals for the sunburst coaster. So let's start making the 5th row by inserting the needle into the chain 3 gap and make one single stitch. And then make one half double crochet. So that's a HDC. And now make 2 double crochet. So that's the first DC and then the second DC. Now make chain 2 and then put your needle back into the double stitch and make a picot stitch, which means a slip stitch on top of the previous DC. That's a picot stitch. And now again make one more double stitch and then a half double crochet and then one single stitch. All of these stitches will go into the same chain 3 gap, and this one will give you a nice shape of your sunburst coaster, which looks like a arrow shape. Now we are going to skip the single crochet and directly make the pattern in the second chain 3 gap. Again one single stitch, one half double stitch and then 2 double crochet. That's the first one and then the second one. Now make chain 2 and then make it as a picot stitch on top of a DC. Now make one more double stitch into the same chain 3 gap, one half double crochet. If needed, you can just squeeze the stitches a little bit closer to fit all the stitches in that chain 3 gap, and then the single stitch. So this completed the second petal, and likewise we are going to repeat these instructions from single crochet to the single crochet in the each chain 3 gap until you reach the starting point. So here I am doing the last petal in the last chain 3 gap. So that's a single stitch, half double stitch and a double crochet, one more double stitch, then chain 2 and slip stitch to make it as a picot stitch, and then one more double crochet, half double crochet and then one single stitch. So this completed the last petal also. Now we are going to finish this project by making a slip stitch on top of the first single stitch in the first petal. So that's the slip stitch. Make chain 1 and then trim the excess yarn, leaving a tail end of 2 to 3 inches. That's good enough for us to weave in that, and fasten off the yarn. And now trim and cut down the green color yarn from your 4th row as well. So the shape of the sunburst coaster is now completed. Now let's do the finishing part for the project. Insert the tail end into the tapestry needle, and now let's take this tail end to the back side of the coaster. After that, insert the tapestry needle into the nearby stitches gently so that the tail end will be weaved in and will be secured nicely, and then trim and cut the excess tail end close to the project. And now we are going to repeat the same thing with the other tail ends at the project. So as we have already weaved in all the starting tail ends, we are just left with only 2 tail ends with the finishing part. So if you observe, we have reduced our work by half. Weave in this tail end also into the nearby stitches, and after that cut the yarn close to the project, and with that your sunburst coaster is now ready. I hope you all enjoyed watching this tutorial. Do give this pattern a try and let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. The written pattern is given in the description. Do check it out. Don't forget to share your work to me on Instagram. See you all in the next video. Thank you for watching. Please like the video, share it and subscribe to DIY Crafts.